Yes. Okay. So, hello everyone. It's Oshi Barkanyi from Women as Entrepreneurs, and we are very lucky today to have Samuel Yanken. Did I pronounce it right, Sam?
Perfect.
From Think Big Online. ThinkBigOnline.com is the website, and we're going to hear from Samuel a bit more about what he does. I met him a couple of months ago, actually, in Canberra, and I've seen him at a lot of functions. Samuel is doing a lot of speaking on online marketing, and he gave a really good talk. So this is why I invited him today. He's going to share a couple of tips with us on how we can get the most out of Let's Get Blogging. So hi, Samuel. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure. Thanks.
So, what is your company does? Can you just give us a little bit of overview before we get started on the topic?
Sure, I've actually got that Resi, so I may as well cover that as we jump into it.
Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. Then let's get started. If you guys have any questions in the meantime, just please type it in the chat, and Samuel's going to be read those out and answer them as we go. So, have fun. Let's get started.
Fantastic. Let's jump into it. So, I hope everyone can hear me okay. If you can't, just something in the chat pad. Now, if you're having trouble hearing me, or maybe put in the chat pad if you can hear me, might be a better way to start off. Thanks, Kelly. All right, fantastic. So let's jump into it. So you guys have a little bit of context, and around who I am and for the presentation. I found the internet back in about '98, and was. So I'm just going to mute Washi. Okay, so I found the internet back in about '98, when it was kind of just starting to crack into the Australian market. Not many people knew what the internet was or what it was about, but it kind of started coming out, and then I heard about people making money on the internet, and I thought there's really something to that. What an amazing concept that you could do business with anyone all around the world and make money literally from home, in your underpants if you wanted to. And so after a couple months of trying to figure out how this thing worked and try to find someone that I could learn from, there really was not many people around then. And so, friends and family telling me that I was crazy and that, I should probably give up because it was just, going to be another one of these fads. Then, I don't know if anyone can relate to that. You're really passionate or you can see something working and other people kind of say, well, yeah, it's a silly idea or whatever, and you give up on your hopes or dreams. So, lesson learned, because I went away and I spent time running other businesses that I wasn't that passionate about, and I always felt like something was missing. And then about 10 years later, I came to Sydney for a business event, multi-speaker, and I heard these people talking about making money on the internet. And I thought, wow, that's the thing that 10 years ago I was looking at doing. And so I got all inspired again, then started learning about internet marketing. Started off working at home, literally in my undies, and and had some successes very quickly online. And a big part of my success was around SEO and optimizing sites to appear in the free listings on Google. And so fast forward a couple of years, I decided that there wasn't enough stress, headaches, and grey hairs, and so I thought I'd start an agency. So we now have a small agency here in North Sydney, and we have around 30 employees, both here and overseas. And we have a full service agency, so we not only offer SEO, but we also do web design, social media, pay-per-click management, reputation management, conversions, email, video marketing, a whole lot of other stuff. So it's not the me show, but I also got a couple books just come out recently that I've co-authored, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I see we've now got Susan there. Hi, Susan. And so let's jump straight into the meaty stuff. If I'm going too fast, or if you don't understand something, then please keep your hand up and type something in the chat pad, and I can hover off on it. Orshi, I'm going to have to mute your mic too because I'm getting feedback from you. But if you can just type something in the chat pad if you want to talk to me, then I can unmute you.
Perfect, thank you.
Alright, let's keep going. So giving you over a little bit of an overview so we're all on the same page and we all understand what we're talking about. Search engine optimization is the process of making your website appear in these free listings here that are highlighted in the red. All this other area where the yellow is up the top and down the right hand side are paid listings that some people may know, and that's where Google makes their money. There's around 18, nearly 19 billion searches each month on search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and a whole bunch of other ones. So that's a whole heap of people searching out there for what we have as entrepreneurs or business owners, and it's a totally different medium for getting your message out there, because unlike traditional medium, which is kind of your push marketing, where let's say for example it might be Facebook ads, you've got to run an advertisement, you've got to interrupt someone from what they're doing to actually get them engaged and involved in what you've got to offer to be able to sell something to them. Search, they're already thinking about, I actually want this product or I want to know more about it, and so they're actively seeking you out. So it's what we call pull marketing. Around 96% of people don't look past the first page on Google. Most people will go back and they'll type in another phrase. So that's why it's so important that we target our keywords very strategically and specifically, and we'll get a bit more into keyword research soon. But for now, another interesting stat for you is about 74% of people will look you up online before actually doing business with you. So, for example, if you were running TV advertisements and you drove people back to the internet to come and look for you, and they typed in your business, ABC, cleaning or whatever it might be, and then they saw really bad reviews down below about ABC cleaning, they're probably not going to be as likely to purchase from you as if there was some good reviews there and if your website was showing. So obviously it's very important to have your own website ranking for your own name, but it's also very important to make sure the websites that are ranking around you are also of a good nature that support what you do. Google has around 85-90% market share in Australia, so usually that's why people refer to check it out on Google, or they associate SEO with Google. So you understand the context in why we're trying to rank and why search engines are there. Google is not the internet. A lot of people like to think that Google is the internet. It's just kind of a natural thing, a natural way that we've been trained over the years. But Google isn't the internet. They're just one small part of the internet. And why it was created rather, is because you imagine on your computer you've got a whole bunch of files that are around everywhere, and it's just a big mess. And so when you want to try to find something, it's very hard to remember where you put it once you start getting a whole lot of files there. The internet is just basically a whole bunch of files that are out there. And so what the search engines do is they order them and they rank them so that it makes it easier for you to find them. Google's whole purpose is to provide the most relevant results. So that's really the first point that I want to make, is that you've got to think about making your content as relevant as possible to the person that you want to speak with. So what do these monkeys have to do with search engine optimization? Absolutely nothing. And that kind of reinforces the point, but in the reverse way, is that if we're talking about monkeys in our in our content when we're really trying to be talking about, it might be business growth or marketing or sales, whatever it is that you guys are doing. If you wanted to be talking about plumbing, then you wouldn't have content in there talking about cat throwing. You want to keep it as on topic as possible. Sure, you can use metaphors and analogies that might tie into something else and bring it back to your target market, but you really need to keep it on topic as much as possible so that those pages will rank in the search engines. So it's really like a little mini ecosystem, and it's a win-win-win. If there's ever a break in this cycle, then everybody loses out. So you've got the search engine up the top. So let's say, for example, Google, the user comes to Google, the search engine serves up the result to the user. The user then clicks on the publisher's website, and then the publisher obviously gets free traffic from the search engine. So then they create more content for the search engine to pick up. And if the search engine thinks that it was a good user experience last time the user went to their website, then they're going to be more likely to send more traffic back to that publisher's website again. And so the little ecosystem that we need to keep flowing to be able to make it work. If, for example, let's just say the publisher served up really poor quality content. The user's going to come there, they're going to have a bad experience. The search engines are going to see that they had a bad experience. Maybe they went to the website, they had one look and they clicked back, or they closed the page. Then the search engines are not going to serve up that content anymore, because if they keep serving up poor, irrelevant content, people are not going to use that search engine as much. So where I said Google has about 85-90% market share, if they started serving up really bad results all the time, then people are going to be more likely to go and use Bing or Yahoo or something else to find the results that they're looking for if they're going to get a better result over there. Now, if people are going to the other search engine and they're using them to find the content that they could have found on Google instead, then Google would be missing out on the revenue share. So basically all the search engines make their money the same way through the paid advertisements across the top and down the right-hand side. So that's why relevance is the key, because the more relevant that Google makes the results, the happier the user's going to be, and the user's going to keep coming back to that search engine. How are we going, guys? Am I going too fast, too slow? Can you hear me okay? Okay, I've got a question in there. That's for SEO. Okay, we'll get into keywords in a moment. Sorry, just reading through. Okay, good. Alright, thanks, Kelly. Okay, so I liken search engine optimization to fishing. And I mean, really, your marketing is like fishing altogether. You need to be thinking like the fish to be able to catch the fish. So what I mean by that is, you really need to know what's their intention behind the keyword that they're typing in. So if someone goes to Google and they type in a specific term, what is it that they're actually thinking or that they're wanting on the opposite side of that keyword? It's not about the keyword, search engine optimization. A lot of people say, yeah, you've got to have the right keywords and blah, 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 which is true. What is more important is thinking about what's the intention behind that search term. And this is where all the psychology kind of comes into it. So I've kind of come up with this buying cycle for the different types of searches. Now, the first one is they're not aware of it, and so they're not searching for it at all, and we don't need to worry about those people at all. So it might be a brand new type of product. It might be like a, say before the iPhone came out, there would be no one searching for the iPhone if there was no media releases around it, if there was no awareness around that. No one would be searching for it, so we don't need to worry about those people. If you want to reach those people, then search engine optimization or Google AdWords is not going to be for you, and you need to look at more interruption style marketing, where it could be leaflets, billboards, TV, radio. It could be pay-per-click advertising, like the banner advertisement on Facebook, or other mediums to kind of make people aware of that. The second level is they've heard of it, but they're not really sure what it is, and it really holds no commercial value to us as marketers. So if they're typing in a term like Holden, they may be thinking, what is a Holden? They might have heard their friend mention it, or they're walking down the street and they heard someone talking about Holden. They weren't sure what it was, so they went to Google and they typed in Holden. What is a Holden? They could type in cars. But see how these terms are very broad and they really hold no commercial value to us. So this is something that we need to think about when we are creating our content and when we're thinking about the keywords that we want to target our content around. Got a question there, but I'll get to that in a moment. Our third level is they're aware of it, and there could be people that have a buying intention around that. So if they type in green Commodore, it's a bit more specific than Holden, or it's a bit more specific than cars. But still, people could be searching for green Commodore paint. They could be searching for green Commodore floor mats. They could be indeed searching for a green Commodore to buy. And if you were selling green Commodores, then that would be fantastic. However, where we really want to focus our attention is on the want it now, the fourth level. And so if they're typing in something, they'll be typing something more specific. So it'll be green 99 model Commodore for sale. Can you see how the intention behind that keyword is far, far more specific than green Commodore or Holden? We know exactly what their intention is behind that keyword. And so while there might not be as much traffic for that keyword, if we attract those people, the conversion is going to be very high. So say, for example, if we sent people to our site for green Commodore, it might be 1 in 100 people might be actually interested in what we have. But if we have a green 99 model Commodore for sale and we drive 2 visitors, maybe 1 out of 2 people would be likely to engage with us and want to purchase what we actually have. So I've got a question here. Can anyone publish better content than the top paid one but still get good rankings because they have not paid Google? Not really. So you're always going to have either 2 or 3 paid listings above the very top, and that's just the way, the layout of Google or Yahoo or Bing. So even if you've got amazing content, you can't get above the paid ads, unfortunately. Is there any questions around the buying cycle or the 4 levels that we've got here? Nope. Alrighty. So some of you may or may not know about the Google Keyword Tool. So here's just a quick screenshot of that. If you go to Google and search for Google Keyword Tool, you'll find it pretty easily. Google's got a vested interest in making sure that you find it. And so what it is, it's just a tool that tells you roughly how many people are searching each month for a particular keyword or key phrase. See, hopefully you can see my screen all right here. Up the top I've typed in online marketing consultant. What's very important to note about using this tool when searching for keywords to create content around is over on the left hand side where we have broad, exact and phrase. Notice that I've got exact ticked. I always like to do my research on exact. Broad doesn't give you a very accurate assessment of how many people are actually searching, and neither does phrase. I'll just run over the meaning behind broad, exact and phrase. Broad means that, say for example you typed in yellow sneakers. They could show results for sneakers yellow, yellow sneakers online or cheap yellow sneakers or whatever it is. So they could serve up they could show your listing to a whole lot of people that might not be targeted. This is more specific around AdWords. Phrase, on the other hand, it means yellow sneakers must be typed in that exact order, but they could have words before or after that word. So it could be cheap yellow sneakers, it could be yellow sneakers for sale, but yellow sneakers has to be in that order. Exact match means that they are looking for that exact term. So in this example where I've got online marketing consultant, they need to type in online marketing consultant and only that keyword. So why that's relevant is if we want to know exactly how many people are typing in our term, we need to use the exact match. Because if we typed it in on broad, for online marketing consultant, you might see maybe 1,000 or 2,000 searches show up there in that result, when really there's only 210 people. It's just a little bit misleading, and it doesn't serve you as best as it could. So always do your keyword research on exact match. So up the top, you can either put in a phrase to start off with. So if you think your content is going to be around business growth, then you could type in business growth and see what other suggestions it gives you down there. And you can order it by search volume or by relevance, and you can get some good ideas. So as we go down here, you see at the top we have marketing plan. So sure, we kind of do marketing plans at Think Big Online, but it's not really what our core business is, and it's not the type of people that we want to attract. If we look there, we've got 3,600, so you think, well, we'd miss out on 3,600 people, but they're not really the right people anyway, so we're better not to target them, not to spend the time, energy and effort to get ranking for that term, because if it's going to bring us traffic, but that traffic is never going to purchase from us, then there's really not much point in doing that. Social media marketing, that would be a level 3 keyword. So there's still some ambiguity to that. People could be looking for social media marketing tips, social media marketing consultant, which would fit us well. They could be looking for a social media marketing book. There could be a whole lot of stuff that they're looking for around social media marketing, which doesn't really serve us well to target those people, because while there's traffic there, the people that are going to engage with us and do business with us, there's going to be a very small percentage of those people. Search engine optimization, same thing. It's a level 3 keyword, what we covered before. However, web design company, it's still only 3 words long. But can you see how the intention behind that keyword is very clear? Someone that types in web design company is obviously looking for a business that does web design to create a website for them. And so it's a very clear intention there behind the keyword. So we don't want to be just looking at the numbers over here and saying, well, social media marketing's got 2,900, it's more than web design company, and it's more than online marketing consultant. You want to look at the intention behind it, and then look at the search volume as kind of a secondary thought. So is there any questions about the Google Keyword Tool? Nope, we can move on. Okay. Actually, we've got a question there from Orshi. What's the competition? Don't worry about the competition. That's one, it's inaccurate, and two, it's not relevant for a search engine optimization. This tool is actually built for AdWords advertisers, so people that are using the paid listings on Google. As I said, it's not very accurate, and it doesn't really have much relevance to, or has no relevance to SEO. Here's a few other tools that you can use to dig up keywords and have a look around at what your competitors are ranking for. So if you go to semrush.com and you put in your website, it's fantastic because you'll see which keywords you're currently ranking in the top 20 positions for that maybe you didn't even know you were ranking for. What you can also do is take your competitors' websites and put them in there, and then you'll know what your competitors are ranking for, and then that will give you some good ideas as to maybe what you should create some content around and try to rank for, provided that you use some common sense, because sometimes your competitors are not always right. They might have gone out and they might have spent all this time and money optimizing for a keyword like marketing plan, like we saw before, only to make no sales, have no engagement with the content, and it's a complete waste of time. And even if you can rank for something like marketing plan, if your message is not congruent with what people are actually searching for, your rankings are going to slip anyway, because Google's going to be looking at the time on site. How do people interact with the page? Are they clicking on things? Are they scrolling up and down? If people just land on the page and they bounce off, and then they go to Google and they type in another search term, then they know that your website is not as relevant to that search term that they typed in as maybe someone else's website is. So your website will slip anyway. Even if you've got fantastic content that's not relevant, it'll still slip. So hopefully you've got these tools down by now. Keyword Spy is another good one. You can check out your competitors, see what keywords they're advertising for on Google AdWords. It doesn't really do the organic listings. It does a little bit, but mainly it's for the paid listings. But it still gives you good ideas on what keywords you could use. Market Samurai is a fantastic tool. Amazing for SEO. You can do whole lots of keyword analysis, compare your website against your competitors, and see what elements you need to work on to to improve your ranking. Because it's all about who's ticking all the boxes is going to be up the top. And if you're ticking the boxes better, or if you're ticking more boxes, then they're going to place you above other people. So as I mentioned, you want to use common sense. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So before, when we're looking at the Google keyword tool, if I kind of squinted and I tipped my head on the side and I kind of looked at marketing plan, I was like, well, there's 3,600 people searching for that. I'd really love 3,600 people to my website. I would be completely wasting my time and effort, as I mentioned. So, you need to use your discretion as to what you're going to do. And I just showed you some great tools where you can basically go and steal other people's keywords. But if they're not relevant, if they're not going to be, if they're not going to bear fruits for your business, then there's no reason in going after those in the first place. Okay, so a couple other things not to do when doing your keyword research. Don't justify keywords, which I just covered. Just because you see a big number, it doesn't mean that you should target it or even entertain the idea of targeting it. Don't be limited by the tools. So while I just gave you 4 great tools to come up with suggestions, about 80% of all the searches that go into Google every single day have never been typed in before. 80%. So while that's giving us some ideas, we saw there of online marketing consultant, social media marketing, etc. There's a whole bunch of terms that have not been typed in before. So there could be social media marketing, Sydney social media marketing, social media marketing consultant, social media marketing consultant in Sydney, social media marketing consultants. So you've got to think a little bit outside the box and just kind of get into the head of your prospect and who you really want to show content to, and then think about what sort of terms would they be typing in, not what you think they would be typing in, but what they would be typing in. There's a big difference in stepping into their shoes and stepping into their mindset and thinking about what would I be typing in if I was that perfect prospect, as opposed to trying to project your own ideas onto them. I think they would type in this because that's who they are. it's a lot easier to step into their shoes. Don't target just the short tail. So with your keywords, you've got what they categorize as short tail keywords, which are typically your 1, 2, and 3 word keywords. So like we saw before, marketing plan, social media marketing is kind of a short tail keyword. What we call long tail is the ones where they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words long. These ones don't have as much traffic, but they're hyper specific and really relevant if you target them properly, and they're worth a lot more. So you could create a list of 100 long tail keywords. Yes, you've got to put in more effort to actually create the content and come up with the keyword ideas, but you're going to rank very, very quickly for them, and I'm going to show you soon how you can come up with ideas for keywords where you'll be able to rank literally, I mean, some of our pages rank within days. So is there any questions about what I've spoken about so far? Okay, so am I correct in thinking the keywords I use for my website will be different to the keywords for WE website, so Women as Entrepreneurs website, and if so in terms of the keywords that you should use, that really comes down to what's the kind of action and who are the people that you want to attract with your content, and what's the message that you want to get out to them. So like we just talked about keyword research, what is the action that you want people to take, and who is it that you want to attract to the content in the first place? If you have a unique offer with little competition, then that's fantastic. You're probably going to rank very quickly. If you go to Google and you type in a search term, you'll notice it will say results for whatever you typed in out of, it'll say results 1 to 10 out of how many results. And you might see some keywords that you type in, and there might be literally millions or billions of competitors out there. So meaning there's millions or billions of other pages that mention that keyword on them. But there might be very specific niche keywords that you type in that there might only be a couple hundred pages. So you're only competing against a couple hundred pages compared to a couple million or billion pages. Sorry, Orshi, what's the question? I've only got part of your question there. How is it different from when I just post something on my website? Oh, right. Okay. Let me just unmute you there, Oshi. You can ask it. Okay.
Hi, Sam. Yeah, I can. So I was just thinking, obviously, like what you said, so we have to put our shoes, or put ourselves into the shoes of our customers and just, or speak with them on what keywords they are searching for to make sure that they find us. So this is relevant when we build our own website and when we blog on our website. But what happens when we guest blog on another site and we want to make sure that we get the most out of that, so that other websites has its own keyword preferences as well, obviously. So how can we be more strategic about that content?
So what's your main objective for getting more rankings? Is it to have more members join for the networking?
Yes, so on our site, we our keyword preference is obviously like women entrepreneurs. That's the term that we want to that we are actually ranking high, and female entrepreneurship, female business owners. And so these women who are listening to, they all guest bloggers on our site. So they submit articles in their expertise, within their expertise. So for example, we may have someone who is a stylist, but our website is for entrepreneurs. So then we have to make sure that their content is relevant to our readers. So then it has to be, so what my preference would be from them is to write how to style yourself as an entrepreneur, for example.
Exactly. So you're on the right track. I think you already know the answer, where people will have different skill sets within your business. Because, I mean, your business is a very different kind of model than most others. And so when people are writing guest posts
we want to make sure that when someone is looking for styling for entrepreneurs, that they find that article on our website, and then they can find a link to the person who wrote that article, so that we both benefit from it. So when I guest blog for like Shoestring, which is a startup publication, like I make sure that I blog, like I use terms like startup women, or something that is relevant to them, their target market.
Yep. So you're on the money there with your example that you gave. I hope that's clear to everyone else. But yeah, you want to combine, both things about entrepreneurship or women in business, women networking, all those sorts of things with the topic that the person is most experienced in.
So is it a good strategy, Samuel, to, so if I'm a stylist and I want to blog for women as entrepreneurs, is it a good strategy to get onto Google keyword tool and type stylist for entrepreneurs or stylist for female business owners, and just to see what comes up, and use that term, or write a blog post specific to what people are searching for? So there might be people searching for a stylist course for entrepreneurs. Then I'd write a blog post about stylist courses, or workshops, or whatever comes up.
Yep. Yeah, you're right on the money there. If you just go and type it into the Google keyword tool, and then it will give you some suggestions around that. I think because it's such a very, very specific thing. So in that example of stylist for entrepreneurs, that's very, very niche. What you can also do is go and type that into Google itself, and then see what results you get. Sometimes you might get ideas from other people that have published content, and then you could take those websites and put it into the Google keyword tool. So I don't know if you noticed, but go back to my slide, keyword tool. If you see up there, it says you can put in a word or phrase, or you can put in a website. So if you deleted that word or phrase there, and you put keyword suggestions based off that actual website. So if I went to Google and I typed in online marketing consultant in this example instead of putting it here, then it would give me a list of 10 websites that I could then go and put into the keyword tool, and then that would give me other suggestions around keywords as well. So you want to find things that have the most traffic, that have the best kind of intent behind them.
Okay, so when you put it in the website category, and like your website comes up, this is what you want. So that you want people who search in different websites, and then your website comes up in the Google keyword tool. So it's the most relevant websites that come up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all the keyword tool will do is give you suggestions about what keywords you could use to promote your type of business. And so if you've got competitors' websites or other sites that you see ranking for your keywords, you can put them in here and it will give you more suggestions for keyword ideas.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks. All right. Is there any other questions on keywords or any of that stuff we just covered before we move on? All right. Let's keep moving. Yes, Susan. Yeah. So the question was, is it more effective to go for the results with lower competitor numbers? Yes, it is. Sometimes it means there's less traffic for those though. So generally when we start out on an SEO campaign, you want to think about where's the low-hanging fruit first. So an example might be, and this is where your long tail and your short tail keywords come into it. If you have long tail keywords, say for example, stylist for women entrepreneurs, that's a very long tail keyword, very specific. There's probably not much competition there at all. Whereas women entrepreneurs might be, it is a short tail keyword and there's probably a lot more competition for it. It's going to take you longer to rank for that keyword. So to rank for the shorter tail keywords or the more competitive ones, basically your website needs to hold more power than the competitors to kind of appear higher up. Every page that you add to your website is going to add more power to the website. And so if you start off by targeting the longer tail keywords that you know you're going to rank for easily, what you're doing is you're being able to rank for some keywords that might have a little bit of search traffic in the in-term, or you're going for the big ones, but you're slowly building up the power as you go. And so, yeah, absolutely, you want to start with the lower hanging fruit and try to rank for the keywords that are longer tail to start with. Okay, so relevance once again. How is that relevant? It's totally not. But I just want to bring it up so that to remind you of being as relevant as possible with your content. Okay, so what we cover, particularly when I'm training people with social media, but also SEO, in getting into the minds of people that, getting into the minds of your target market rather, is what I call as a circle of death. So I mean, it's a bit cheesy, I know, but the reason I came up with it is because if you don't get this, then you should be shot. So what I get people to do is draw a big circle, and within that circle, place all the different things that are relevant to your target market. So say, for example, it's women entrepreneurs. So what I might put in here is obviously business. I might put marketing might be important to them, sales might be important to them. I might put kids, family might be important to them. Having holidays, having time off, and put into the circle everything that makes up that person's life. And so then when you look at it, you get a really good understanding of what it is that interests them. You might put some problems and that they have in there, so things that keep them awake at night. And you're going to come up with a whole heap of ideas that interest this person, because this is how their daily life is made up. So instead of just talking business, you could look at it and go, well, women entrepreneurs are probably interested in holidays to Bali or Tahiti or whatever it might be. And so when you're creating your content, you can create really compelling content because you can dip into this at any time and go, okay, we're going to use a metaphor about going to Tahiti when we're talking about personal styling. We talk about, I don't know, whatever it might be, about however you tie styling back into the trip to Bali. Something about presentation or the way that you come across, to your target market. That might be something along the lines of your content. and you'll weave in little stories here and there. Did you notice I told a story at the start? It wasn't just to stroke my ego, it was kind of to get you a little bit involved, because people love stories and they love to hear tales. We're brought up when we're little kids to listen to stories, and so that was really my first point, was tell stories within your content, because the more compelling you make your content, like I said before, the user is going to have a better experience, and Google is going to think that that content is relevant to that keyword that they typed in to land on your page. So the longer people stay on your page, the more relevant they think that your content is, and the more likely the rest of your content is going to be to rank. So to give you some ideas to get started, you can use frequently asked questions. So if everyone thinks about what are the most commonly asked questions in their business, it's a fantastic place to start. And you can use these as your titles for your content, which we'll go into a little bit more further on. But say, for example, someone might type in, what is the best women's networking group? That's something legitimate that people would probably type in. I can tell you now, if you went and created a blog post, what is the best women's networking group, and you publish that now, you're probably going to see that you rank very quickly for it, because there's probably very little competition. Now, while there's not much traffic, that's a highly targeted key phrase that someone might type in to find something that is very related to what WE does. So think about, list out all the frequently asked questions that you get asked during the day or the work week, and it's a great place to start for content. SAQs, should ask questions. So these are questions that, as business owners or entrepreneurs, we know that people should be asking us about our products or our services, but they don't generally ask, because we all don't know what we don't know. So these are questions that can provide a lot of value to people, because, say for example, if it was around SEO, people think, I've got to ask how many keywords do I get in my SEO package, or how long will it take me to rank? These sorts of things. I could make a blog post out of that. How long will it take me to rank on Google? That would be very relevant to my target audience. But then should ask questions could be things like, you could even make a post about should ask questions. So it could be the top 10 should ask questions. We actually have something like that on our website at the moment, where we have a free report that tells them all the questions that they should be asking before thinking about hiring an SEO company. So it's adding a lot of value to the marketplace, and not necessarily just the keyword in the title, because obviously they're not searching for it, but it's creating really valuable content within the website that you can link to from other pages, and that will eventually rank for keywords related to your topic. Biggest problems, so I touched on that before. Think about what's keeping people up at night. What are the problems that they're trying to solve? So I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and money never changes hand in the world unless there's a problem being solved. It doesn't matter if you're giving to charities or whatever, and I'm not going to go into that too much, but basically money never changes hands unless a problem's being solved. So if you're thinking about what are their biggest problems, then how can you solve it, or at least talk about it within your content, it's going to be something that people are actually interested in. So it's not about just the keyword and getting traffic to the site, it's about creating really rich, valuable content. Because the way SEO is going at the moment, with social media is having a really big influence on it, is if your content's not being shared and not engaged with, it's not going to rank anyway. So it's really important to make it really juicy and rich. What are their dreams? What do they aspire to? So I mentioned the holidays before. It could be more time off. So a fantastic blog post for women as entrepreneurs could be something along the lines of how to make 6 figures working under 30 hours per week. Everyone wants to make over 6 figures, and probably everyone would love to work less than 30 hours per week. To make that even more relevant, you could say, how can single mothers earn over 6 figures working less than 30 hours a week? So see, it's really, really specific to your target audience, if it was single mothers. I don't know if it is. But definitely there would be people in there that would be very interested in that because it's very specific and you've covered quite a lot of different keywords within the title of your post. How-to stuff is very valuable as well. I don't know what percentage it is, but there's a very large percentage of people that will type in how-to type questions directly into Google. So it's kind of like they ask Google a question: how to change a light bulb, how to start a business, how to rank first on Google, how to become a stylist, how to look more professional in my presentations, whatever it might be. But so if you're creating content around the how-to stuff, it's a very good and very easy place to start. Other places you can get ideas from is you can use your feed reader. So I don't know if many of you use a feed reader to subscribe to other people's blogs or news feeds. But if you go and find the absolute market leaders in the world, it doesn't have to just necessarily be in Australia, but in the world, and start following them, see what content they put out and see what content is getting reactions. If you go to some popular blog or news sites, you'll notice that some posts have a lot more shares and likes than others. And so what you're looking for is you're looking for the really hot topics there that you can then create content around and seed your keywords within that. Forums are a fantastic place to get ideas for what to create content on. Once again, if you look at the threads that have a lot of people commenting or interacting in them, maybe they're a little bit controversial, then you know that's going to be a fantastic blog post because there's a lot of interest shown in that, as opposed to the forum threads that they start and then they might get one or two replies to. So look at the hot forum threads. Follow the leader, that's what I mentioned before, in subscribing to people. Google News. If you type a search term in, obviously you get by default, you get a mixed result of search results. You get some videos, you get some news, you'll get some normal organic listings. But if you actually go and click on the tab for Google News, you'll find out what's the most hottest relevant thing within the last hour or two that has just been published on Google. And then you can get some ideas around that, and you might tie into some breaking news and tie it back to your actual topic. Linkbaitgenerator.com is a fantastic little tool. It's a little bit of fun to use as well. And what this tool does is you can go and type in a keyword that you're thinking of using, and it will spit out some headlines, really catchy or funny or silly headlines that you could use to create content around. So obviously you get your keyword in there, but then it'll give you ideas on how to create something that's really compelling and maybe very useful to your target audience. So now it's your turn. We're not going to stop on this too long, but as we're going, if you're thinking about what are your frequently asked questions, what you should ask questions, biggest problems, dreams, and how-to content, you've literally got unlimited ideas here for generating more content. Because I know when people, particularly when they start blogging, is they think, well, what would I write about? Everyone's already covered my topic. But I can assure you that you have so much more value to offer that other people aren't talking about now that it's not funny. All you need to do is to be an expert. It doesn't matter whether it's blogging, public speaking, coaching, whatever it is. All you need to do is be 2 steps ahead of the next person to be able to create value in their lives. And so that's what you need to think about when you're creating blog content, is that if you've got some sort of information or skills or whatever it might be, don't take it for granted, because there's people out there that will get massive value from what you have to share. So there's lots of different types of content. Obviously we've got text, and I'll go into that in a little bit, in how to optimize your content. PDFs, so you could create a free report or something, upload it, and then link to it from a blog post, or have it as a download. They can still be indexed by Google, and quite often you'll see PDFs ranking in Google search results, but more importantly, it's adding another different type of media to your website. So Google looks at the site and says, wow, this site's not only got text, but it's also got PDF, so it's a little bit richer than the next person's site, and so we're going to rank them higher because there's going to be a chance that is going to be better quality content than the next person who's only got text. Images, obviously you want to use images to support your blog post and your story that you're telling along the way, and it's going to help engage people and help them to share it. If your target audience, which your target audience, a lot of them are on Pinterest, then they're going to be sharing your images on Pinterest and sending people back to your blog post if you've got something that's a little bit fun and interesting. So I would definitely be thinking about Pinterest for your target market as well. Infographics, you've probably seen infographics out there over the last year or two. They've just exploded. One of the ones we use is PictoChart, which will help you generate infographics very quickly and easily. You don't need to be a graphic designer and create everything from scratch. You can use different templates and just drag and drop things in there and put your information in there to create posts that are really compelling and really shareable. And if you just look for something like infographic builder, infographic maker into Google, there's literally hundreds of them that you could use, either free or very cheap. PowerPoint presentations. So you can take your PowerPoint presentations and then upload them to the website and have people be able to access them through the website. Obviously, once again, it's another really rich media type that people want to consume, and it will also help them stay on the website a lot longer. And Google, seeing people flicking through a PowerPoint presentation on your website and engaging with your site, is going to help the site or the pages rank a lot better than other content. Audio, you can take audio from a video and you can transcribe it. You could just record something on your phone. So when you're creating the blog posts, don't just think about creating the text. You could very easily, I know some people it's a challenge to write. It doesn't come easy to people to go out there and sit down and write a blog post. But what is easy for most people is if someone asks them a question, they can pick up their iPhone or their whatever their phone is. They've generally all got some sort of recording device on them now. Hit record and just speak into the phone, and it will, you've got your 1-2 pages of content literally within 3 to 5 minutes, and you can either have someone else transcribe it, or you can transcribe it yourself and put the audio on there as well. Podcasting is going crazy at the moment, and so having that different type of media on there will once again help Google to realize that you've got some pretty fantastic content. So that's what it looks like when you get your content right, and people love it. But it just goes to demonstrate another point in having a video, something that's a little bit engaging, something that's a little bit funny, can help spread your content and your message and help you to rank a lot higher if you get it right. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Yep, we'll go into backlinks soon. Cool. Right, so This is in optimizing your content. So once you've created your text, or if you've got audio or video or whatever it is on your page, ideally you want to have some sort of text to support your video, your audio, your images. Even if you do an infographic, you still want to have some sort of text on there, because Google can read text very easily. And so while it needs to be rich, it also needs to be very easily readable. So you want to use your keyword in your headline once, or you want your headline to be your keyword. So where we mentioned, with the how to, if it's how to become a successful entrepreneur, people are going to be typing that into Google, so you could use that as your headline. You want to use the keyword in the body. You want to use it, so when I say the body, within the main text. You generally want to try to use it within the first sentence and the last sentence. That's going to help Google to understand what the page is about better. If you can use it within a bullet point, that would be fantastic. You want to be careful not to overdo it. Underline it, bold it, and italic it will make the search engines understand that this keyword or this word on the page is quite important. And you want to do it in a natural way. You don't want to kind of just underline and bold every single keyword, because it just looks rubbish, and then the user won't get a very good experience and you won't rank very well anyway. But you can emphasize the keyword that you want to rank for a little bit as well. Your internal linking is very important. So if you're guest blogging on a community type site, you want to have a look at what are the other posts on there, and how can you relate what your post is about to something else, or how can you see it in something? Because good search engine optimization not only just brings the traffic to the site, but it keeps them on the site as long as possible. So they might come through to your How to Become a Successful Entrepreneur post, and then somewhere in the middle of the post, you might mention something about stylist for entrepreneurs, and you might link through to a post about that. So interlink your posts between each other will help them rank a lot faster and a lot easier. Images to support. So wherever you've got text, always have an image or something in there to kind of support what the page is about. Last thing, most important, it's not directly SEO, but I mean everything that we're talking about is SEO, because SEO used to be just ranking, and it used to be content and links, that's it. Now SEO is online marketing. You need to be doing all the other stuff. You need to be getting traffic from different sources, and like I'm talking about, engagement to help you rank. So ask for more comments. Asking for comments will obviously get you more comments, but those comments are going to be either questions that you haven't answered within your post, which helps you to understand the people that are reading it better. They could be comments about other resources that you've mentioned in there, but maybe you forgot to mention some resources, and so it will help your content to be better. But also, it's making your page bigger. For every comment that goes on there, it's adding more text. So you're basically getting user-generated content, and you're being able to rank off the back of that, where people are commenting or asking questions. So definitely ask for comments at the end of your blog posts as well. Use related keywords in there. How you find your related keywords. So these are the keywords that Google thinks are most relevant to the keyword that you're targeting. So for example, in this example, I can tell I need a coffee on a Monday afternoon. Alright, so where I've put in SEO consultant, what I've done here is, you can see here it says sorted by relevance up in the top right hand corner. Once you select that tab, Google has sorted them in order of which it thinks are most related to the keyword that I had in the SEO consultant. So I should use SEO consultancy, SEO consulting, SEO marketing consultant within the text of my blog post. You don't want to overdo it, but generally if you just chuck a couple in there, you'll find that you'll rank better. Now, when you write your content, don't be thinking about these words. What you want to do is go back over your content after and see, did I use some related keywords in there? Because you'll naturally do it. If you start with a list of like 5 keywords that you're trying to write a blog post around, the quality of your post will go through the floor. People won't engage with it, and you won't rank very well for it. So you want to go back over it afterwards and see if you're using the related keywords in there. Consistent. You want to be publishing your content on a regular basis. If you can go and write 50 blog posts now, that's fantastic. But instead of publishing them all at once, you're better to drip feed them out. You might want to do 1 or 2 drip fed every week, as opposed to publishing them all now and having nothing for the rest of the year. So just make sure that you keep doing it on a consistent basis. Okay, as I mentioned before, social media is influencing SEO in a big way. If you've got Google Plus pages, every time you make a blog post, share it on Google Plus. It will help you to rank better. Obviously, Google's got a highly vested interest in making sure that the Google Plus network is being used, and so if you're sharing your content within there, then it's going to have a much better chance of ranking. Promote it, like I said, through a topic from a forum where it was a really hot topic, and then you went and created content about it. Go back to that same forum thread and say, hey, I just wrote a blog post about this topic. So you know they're going to like it because they're already commenting, and there's action around that topic there. So you know you're going to get good engagement and a good response from that post. Blog comments, go and comment on other people's blogs, and you can reference yours. Don't spam people, obviously, but where it's relevant. You can do online press releases, and you can run all sorts of ads to publish your content. Facebook ads are fantastic for publishing content, for promoting blog content, very cheap. Will I cover link building? Do we have enough time, or should we wrap it up now? Okay, let's try to whip through this. I know we've been going for quite a while. Thanks for sticking around. So, a link, for those that don't know, is kind of, this is probably not the clearest example, but you see the blue text that's usually underlined. That's what you call a link. And so links count kind of like votes in an election, where we would have the more votes obviously someone gets, the more popular they are, they rise to the top. With links, the more relevant and quality links that are pointing to your website, the more popular Google's going to think you are, and then you're going to rise to the top as well. Don't go and buy a whole bunch of links. You could go to something like Fiverr or whatever and buy a whole heap of spammy backlinks, and that's just going to get your website penalized. And so definitely don't do that. You want to get links through doing things like guest blogging. So if you're guest blogging on the website and you link back to your website, then that's obviously going to be very beneficial to you for ranking. And vice versa, if you're blogging in other places and linking back to the main website, then that's going to help that rank. Don't get too caught up on this, but just so you know, anchor text is the actual text that links back. So where you saw it was logo design or whatever it was in the other slide, that website would be more likely to rank for that keyword because the actual phrase that's linking back to the website is saying that actual term. So that's what anchor text is. Now, we want 50% to be the URL, roughly. Which means if your website is domain.com/about us, then you want to link back to that page with domain.com/about us, about 50% of the time. This is to help Google understand that your website is genuine. Because if you had all your keyword just pointing back there, Google knows that's not what really happens in nature. In nature on the internet, people link back with things like website, click here, read more, and different terms, not just the keywords. So Google's looking for people that are not gaming the system, but they're looking for things that you can, they're looking for websites that kind of recreate what happens in nature. So 10% not related, like I said, click here, read more, blah, blah, blah. 10% maximum keyword. So if you're trying to rank for women entrepreneurship, then you would not use that more than 10%. 10% is even quite up there. 30% related. So where we covered the related terms before, then you want to use related terms. So it could be women in business, women as entrepreneurs, and different related terms. Use long phrases, not just the short tail keywords. So if you create a blog post about how to become a successful entrepreneur, you might want to place a link somewhere else, and link that back as how to become a successful entrepreneur. Okay, so where do you get links from? You can get links from business directories. Here's a list of a few. So some good free ones. You've got DMoz, you've got HotFrog, True Local. Paid ones can be expensive, but all links are not created equal. So the free ones, Google knows that you can go and get free links there, and so they don't value those as much as the paid ones. So if you go to things like business.com.au, I think it's about $20 or something, or business.com, you can get a link from there, which is worth a little bit more because they're a little bit harder to get. If you go to dir.yahoo.com, it's a Yahoo directory link. They're about $300 a year, which isn't cheap, but the power from that link is going to be 100 times or 1,000 times more powerful than something if you get from HotFrog. BOTW is best of the web. Once again, very powerful backlink if you're willing to invest. Web 2.0 are basically like little microblogs that you could have out there. So if you went and created a little bit of content out there on those, then you could put a link back to your website and help your website rank as well. So you've got things like Hub Pages, WordPress, Weebly, Squidoo, and there's literally hundreds of them out there that you could use to create content around. You want to make sure that the content that you're creating is related to what you're doing. If you're creating content around cat throwing, but you're talking about women as entrepreneurs on the page that it links to, Google knows that it's out of context, knows that they don't really match. So if you get links from related content, it's worth far more than getting a whole bunch of links that are from non-related content. Press releases, you've got free versus paid. As a general rule, I believe that paid is generally better quality and you get a better result than free. There's a whole bunch of free press release sites out there where you can publish your story. With press releases, keep them about a story. It's not a promotional thing. You don't say, it's not writing an advertisement. It's writing a news release as though you're seeing it on a current affair or though you're seeing it on the nightly news. And that's the way that you need to write them to actually get them accepted. Paid ones that we use are prweb.com, ereleases.com. Once again, they can be kind of expensive, but if you publish it to one of these websites, it could go out to literally thousands or tens of thousands of other websites, and they will all link back to you as well. Article submissions are becoming less popular. Don't overdo it with any of these. Some people will say articles are dead, don't do articles. That's rubbish, they still work, but everything in moderation. So you don't want to go get a whole heap of press release links. You want to get links from a lot of different places back to your articles that you're publishing. So there's a couple there, Easy in Articles, Article Dashboard, just to get starters. You can also look for guest blogging opportunities where you can contribute content and then people and then place a link back to your website or back to your other posts. So that you can do this for your guest posts as well. So you want to create content on a website as a guest post, then you want to go get other guest posts and link back to that guest post, because that will help the second one rank higher, and you'll probably get traffic from the first one back to the second one as well. So you can do things like type into Google in inverted commas guest blog, and then put your keyword. So if it was guest blog and you were selling cars, you might do guest blog red cars, guest blog red Ferrari, whatever it might be. And then you can find some sites that accept guest blogs. You could use myblogguest.com or blogsynergy.com. They're blogger portals where you can go and sign up, and then you can have people contribute to your website as a guest blogger. Obviously, the more quality content you can get on your site, the better. And also, you can guest blog on other people's blogs and have an opportunity to link back to your website as well. So some very cool tools there. Forum links, you don't want to go too crazy, but if you're an active member of a business community, so for example like Flying Solo or other business forums, you can have a signature link that references, a signature link that points back to your main website, and that will pass some link juice through and help you to rank better. You can also reference blog posts within your post, and obviously link out to other guest posts that you may have. As I said before, don't go to Fiverr and buy a whole bunch of junky links and automate it. Don't do anything automated. You want to do a manual process. If Google doesn't find you now and penalize you, they will do it in future. So don't do anything that's automated, and don't do anything that seems too good to be true, because it probably is. Don't hire on price. If you're going to hire an SEO company, what too many people do, we see people come to us and they say, well, how come you charge this much per month when we could get it for like $50 an hour from someone in India? You try to compare like apples with washing machines. They're two completely different things, and the results are obviously going to be very different as well. So, if you ever go to hire an SEO company, you want to look at the results and the strategy behind that, and not looking at the price, because it's not like comparing, a Sony Bravia HD TV from Harvey Norman versus the same TV from JB Hi-Fi. It's completely different. So I've got a question here. Request unique blog posts from these women. Is this the best way? Absolutely, unique content. You want the content on your website to be 100% unique. Google has a duplicate content section in its algorithm, and so it will pick up if that same content is on someone else's website. And what will happen is Google will either give preference to one, generally the most powerful website, over the other one. And so if you put the same content on one website as you do on another, it will generally give the attribution to the one that is the most powerful website. So this is where some people might plagiarize content. They may pinch content off your website and put it on their own. If you ever see that happen, you need to jump on it fast, because your content could actually outrank yourself. So if they steal your content and put it on someone else's site, then it could potentially rank above you, and then you lose the credit for it as well. So something to be careful of, but definitely always only use unique content on your blog so that it will rank better. Use of internal links, I spoke about that before. So think of the user first. You want to link where you're adding value. You don't want to link just so you can use the keyword. You want to think about, how does this blog post relate to a different blog post, and then link them through, because obviously you're adding a lot of value to the person that's reading that at the time. mix up the text. So like I talked before about the anchor text of incoming links, you also want to mix up the links, the text in the links that's pointing to another blog page. Don't overdo it, don't go crazy. Generally speaking, if you're linking from page A to page B, you want to link only once from page A to page B. But then page C might link to page B as well. And page D might link to page B, and so on. But you don't. If you go on page A and you try to put 50 links through to page B, it's not going to have any more value because Google has what's called a first link priority system. So they only give preference to they only put weighting on the first link. So don't overdo it. Just use the link once where it makes sense, and it will add a lot of value to your users. So I know we've covered a whole lot in a very short period of time, but is there any questions that you have about any of that?
Thank you, Samuel.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Do we still have people here? Anyone who'd like to ask a question? Who do we have in the chat?
We've got Kelly there. Thanks, Kelly. Is there any questions at all before we wrap up?
Thank you, Samuel. Yep.
So there's a question there, is it worth cross-linking them? So you mean cross-linking the blog posts? So yeah, absolutely. Where that's value, if they're just reciprocal links for the sake of having a link, then it's not really going to, and it doesn't add value, then once again your user experience is going to suck and then your rankings are going to fall anyway. But if you have a blog post A and blog post B and they're both relevant and you can tie the stories into each other, then absolutely do, because you'll keep people on the website longer, and also having that link will help you to rank. Thanks, Maria. Yes, absolutely. Same thing for two websites. If it makes logical sense to link two websites, then absolutely do. Like I say, it's all about relevance. If you're going to send someone from website A to website B for something totally unrelated, then don't worry about it. So if you've got one about business and then the other one's about growing tomatoes, then it's probably not relevant for the user, and they're not going to have a good experience. So I wouldn't worry about it in that case.
Yes, so, well, thank you, Samuel. It was a really comprehensive, awesome presentation. I think we all learned a lot. Just a couple of main points that we talked about. So use the Google Keyword tool. Make the content relevant to the readers of Women as Entrepreneurs site as well. Because you are all members, I think it's really easy for you to make it relevant, and so write exclusive blog posts to us. And Samuel, am I right? So then once we publish that blog post, then the women can also publish that on their site with a backlink to our site. So just saying that the post first appears on the Women's Entrepreneurs website and just have a link there.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Is that correct? No.
What I would do is if they publish a post on your site, then create another post, and what you can do is take an excerpt from the original post and put it in a new post, and you might make a new post that's sort of 200 words long, and then just have a small excerpt, and then link back and say, for the full article, see this. So you might write about it in the third person and say, I just created a blog post over entrepreneurs, and we're talking about this, and you can use this as another idea that I didn't speak about before, was another way of creating content. So where you see things in Google News and you might find it as an interesting topic, you might want to reference that, and you might want to write your post about that other news piece or about that other blog piece. And so you can just use a little small snippet. So-and-so said, and you can quote them and then link back to it. And that's also another very fast way of creating content on the fly.
Okay, sounds good. I think that's clear. That's a great way to do it. And then because it's a win-win, because we already have a high volume of visitors on our site. So if someone gets blogged for us, then they can already tap into that market or that leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to reference. But we also want to have backlinks on our site. So we also like that if course as blog post is referenced on different other sites.
Yep, so I'd do it both ways. So you could reference blog posts made on contributors.
Exactly. This is the best.
Yep.
Yeah. And we also have a business directory for this particular reason. So all our members can register their businesses there. So that's an additional backlink for them.
Yep. For sure.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel. I think it's time to wrap up.
Yep. Been going for a while, so I hope you guys got value. And if there's anything else, just let me know.
It was awesome, and so if anyone needs more help with their businesses and SEO, then you can be found at thinkbigonline.com.
Yep, that's correct. We have a more in-depth SEO course coming out soon. It's not yet released, but if they wanted to check it out and find out a lot more detailed information, check out searchfaststart.com, and there will be a course out there soon.
Awesome. And it's great that you love blogging, and there's a lot of info on your site, which I enjoy. So and you don't sharing what you know, it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samuel, and thank you everyone who was with us. See you guys next time. It was Orshi from Women as Entrepreneurs, and Sam, you are from Think Big Online. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Samuel, can I just ask you, please, to just give the authorization back to me? So just make